So what's going on, everybody? It's Kevin Sullivan from Pipas Law Group. And unless you're sitting under a rock right now, and I think even if you were under a rock, there is a storm coming. So I wanted to bring on my friend, Darryl Stidham. Darryl is an insurance agent with I Insure Now, an owner operator. And I wanted to kind of ask him some 30,000-foot questions to give everybody some basic information about insurance in relation to the storm. So Darryl, thanks so much, man, for joining us last minute.
Absolutely, yeah, happy to do it. Information has to get out, and a lot of people get scared, and so whatever I can do to help, I'm happy to do it.
So tell me about, so let's talk about real quick before the storm, and then we'll talk about after the storm. So before the storm, if you don't have, and correct my language if I'm wrong, but if you don't have like flood insurance or homeowners insurance, if you called right now, you're probably not able to get that, I imagine.
You cannot get it. Most carriers started shutting down Friday, so we're Monday, so Friday they started shutting down. And flood insurance, if you don't already have it, is a 30-day wait unless you're closing on a loan. So right now, I guess, unfortunately, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Okay. So now people that do have flood insurance, we're talking about before the storm, they're planning on evacuating, and we'll go ahead and leave. We won't get into the side of evacuating versus evacuating. We'll leave, not versus doing. So we'll leave that alone there. But if you are planning on evacuating, I saw an interesting post about taking pictures of items that you own. What would you decide to do or recommend for people to do if they are evacuating so they can make the most out of their insurance claim if they need to make one?
So before the storm, you're taking pictures of serial numbers, labels, model numbers of all your big electronic items, refrigerators, TVs, any appliances that you have, any irreplaceable items. If you can, take them with you. You're not going to get them back. Go through your house, take a video or pictures of everything you have, receipts if you have them. Always great stuff to have, and keep it with you. And that's going to be the best way to make sure you get the claim handled the quickest way possible.
Okay, so kind of to sum that up, so for big items, refrigerators, appliances, TVs, big electronic stuff like that, take pictures of those, take pictures of the serial numbers. If you have the receipts, great, take them with you. For smaller items such as maybe handheld devices, jewelry, family keepsakes, antiques, things like that, you recommend taking them with you if you can fit them at all.
Yes.
Okay, now preparing for the storm. Now, as far as obviously people are going to do everything they can to, get sandbags if they're preparing or, locking down patio furniture and things like that. Can people, if say, for example, a chair isn't stored properly or something like that, hits something in the house, can they be held responsible for that? Or is it just kind of due to the storm? It's not really looked into that.
They aren't going to look too much into detail at this point.
Okay. So it's just about locking things down, getting out, and getting yourself safe is probably pretty much the easiest way to summarize it.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Now, as far as after the storm, what is the quickest way to make a claim? Should they go online, call their agent? What would you suggest?
If you have the ability to go online, that may be best at this point. However, call your agent.
Okay. After the storm, that's what we're talking about right now. Call your agent, but if you have the ability, go online. Okay.
Yeah. The 800 numbers are also fine, but the 800 numbers will be backed up. They'll be overloaded. Agent numbers won't be, and we can file the claim online for you and make sure the adjuster reaches out in a timely fashion, which after a storm like this, it could be 2 days before you hear from an adjuster.
Okay, so you got to give it you make the claim, you got to give it a little bit of time. Now, for example, we're going to back up real quick. If you have, say you can't take both vehicles with you, if you can only take one vehicle, or we'll just talk about vehicles in this sense. You leave one car behind, you take one car with you, and that car is damaged in the storm. That would be, and I'm just asking for the people, obviously I know the answer, but that would be a car insurance claim, correct?
That would be. It would be a car insurance claim under your comprehensive coverage.
So you want to make sure that you're making the correct claims under the correct items. So for example, if you have damage to a boat, there may be a separate policy, or damage to a car, there may be a separate policy. So you want to make sure that you're making the claims to the right organizations, correct?
Right. And that's why it's so important, Kevin, to make sure that your policies are all with one agent, because they should have your whole life kind of visible to them. So they know that, okay, you have a boat. Is the boat damaged? How about the car? How about the house? How about your RV? Where are those things, so that we can take care of you from one call as opposed to have to call 5 or 6 different agents.
Okay. And then we'll kind of wrap up here. I can't thank you enough again for your time. So what happens if, and God forbid, obviously, we hope this is not the case, but if you're displaced for a long period of time and have to make a mortgage payment or stay in a hotel, is there coverage there? Can you, that's two separate questions. First of all, if you have to make a combination, stay in a hotel for a long period of time, can you submit those receipts to your homeowner's insurance?
Yes, it's called loss of use. It's on every homeowner's policy. It is typically 10 to 20% of your dwelling coverage. So, for example, you have a $400,000 coverage on your home. You might have $40,000 to $80,000 in coverage for that.
Okay, so that's a great lesson right there. Make sure, guys, that if you are leaving, obviously talk to your agent, et cetera, but keep track of those receipts, those travel receipts. If you're displaced for a long period of time, make sure you keep track of everything. And then the next thing that I'll ask you is if, you can't pay your mortgage for a period of time, is that something separate or?
Honestly, that's not a question I know how to answer.
Of course.
It could fall under loss of use depending on the carrier. You could get a forbearance from your mortgage company. It really just depends on an individual, policy by policy basis.
Okay, got it. Well, I can't thank you enough. Darryl, if you could, obviously I know you're super busy, but if anybody has any comments, I'll ask you to put them below. Darryl, if you could help out with any of those comments or any of your colleagues would greatly appreciate it. Obviously not holding you to it by any means, but thank you again for doing this. I hope this helps a lot of people. Guys, stay safe out there. Make sure you keep an eye on the news. And take care of one another. Be kind, be patient. I know this is going to be a stressful time, but we all need to take care of one another and try to get through this the best we can. Darryl, any parting thoughts or anything else you'd like to share?
I think you said it. Be kind, be patient, and we'll be willing to help when you can.
Absolutely. Well, stay safe, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.